And so the important thing is to do whatever you can do to help your daughter maintain her connection with her source, because when she's in connection with her source, she'll feel good, she'll feel safe, she will attract things that are. And the worst thing you can do is fan the flames of what makes her feel vulnerable. And so we get it. People don't want to hear that. They want you to face reality, and they want to take all kinds of action. But you're leading us to the most important thing that we will talk about here together today. You're really going to like it, how it ties together, and the tool that it will give you for clarity along the way and success in whatever it is you're teaching or living yourself. So in every moment that you are awake in your physical body, you are in the receiving mode of something, because you can't turn your tuner off. It's on, which means you are emitting a vibrational signal, which means you are receiving a vibrational signal, because whatever station you're on is what's coming back to you. The question that you might want to ask yourself as you're moving through the day, it ties in with this satisfied or not satisfied, is what receiving mode am I in? Am I in the receiving mode of source, who knows the whole picture of me? Or am I in the receiving mode of CNN, who has a different agenda today? What receiving mode am I in? Because depending upon what receiving mode you're in, either will gain momentum. In time there will be enough momentum that you'll want to take action, but you just want to make sure that you're in the receiving mode. Esther has just sent off to the printer a proof for a new dash card. It's a card you can put on the dash of your car. It was either that or a bumper sticker, and she didn't think it was a good idea for you to run around with a bumper sticker that said under the influence. When you look at it, you can't tell what it says because it's all backwards and funny, but when it's on your dash, it reflects onto your windshield. So low on your windshield, it's a nice reminder. Under the influence. What influence am I under? Am I under the influence of my inner being, which means am I in the receiving mode, or am I under the influence of fearful, worrisome things?
The 24-hour news/fear cycle. Like if Jessie knows that a school shooting is happening, she's not continuing to participate by watching replays of it over and over and the commentary on it for days to come. Like she knows this has happened. And that's when I tell her to listen to source and stop listening to the news. Like we acknowledge it and then we look for answers from it.
That's what we mean. So step one, of course, be awake in this world, be alive in this world, and let what comes to you in this world serve you in the way you intended. Let knowing what you don't want help you to know what you do want. For example, when you're listening, when you're under the influence of source, the eventual ideas that will flow to you will be ideas such as offering love as often as you can, and noticing in advance those who are feeling like fish out of water, and maybe doing something to soothe them before they feel so disenfranchised and misunderstood that they are actually in a place that as they're trying to move up the emotional scale, they move into revenge. You see what we're getting at? You might be one who rendezvous with someone who is on their way to that kind of an act, but instead they meet you bright and shiny and in love with life, and not judging them the way others do, and seeing them through the eyes of source, and maybe saying the perfect thing at the perfect time. In other words, when you're under the influence of source, you are part of the solution. When you are under the influence of something other than that, you're part of the problem. So you might just want to remind her that there's step one and there's step three, and which part does she want to predominantly be a part of. And of course you're going to be part of step one. You can't see that without having that knee-jerk reaction and wanting things to be different, but you sure can give your attention to what you want to be different. If you're under the influence of what so many people are, you don't even want to lock them up. You want to kill them dead on the spot. You want to blame them. There's no place for understanding within you about how they even got there, and therefore there's no moving forward in helping fewer people get there. Law of attraction says you get what you think about, whether you want it or not, and whatever you're thinking about is becoming more and more and more and more and more. Do you want to be part of the problem, or do you want to be part of the solution? And once she understands the laws of the universe, you know, we talk about this stuff so much, and audiences hear and have their individual responses to what they hear here. And we know that as we speak universal truths, as we speak of the laws of the universe as we know them to be, that to those who are hearing it, it could just be another set of words that are just another set of words. We know we can talk to you about your source. We can talk to you about connection. We can talk to you about alignment. We can talk to you about empowerment. We can talk to you about the receptive mode. But until you've actually lived some life and know you want something, and then actually deliberately quieted your mind and stopped the negative chatter and allowed your vibration to rise, and you know you did because of the way you feel in your body, and then received an impulse or a thought that felt satisfying, felt delicious to you, and so you followed it because we had this discussion, and then you witnessed the result of that, and then you know, because words don't teach. So you can't just tell her, you have to live it yourself. You have to be joyful in this world that could be scary. You have to feel secure in a world that could feel tentative. You have to trust her in a world when most parents are not trusting their kids. You have to send her off into the world knowing her well-being rather than fearing that it will not be there. You have to demonstrate your own connection before you even have an opportunity at all to awaken it within her. And the thing about these kids is that it's already so awake. This movement that is afoot, we applaud it because we think it's wonderful that they are saying we want something different than we've got. But to act like adults that are just now pushing against this isn't going to get them to where they want to be. They want to live in a safe world, but do you know where that safe world is? It's the satisfaction that you feel between wanting a safe world and having thoughts about one. That's where it is. And practicing that until your momentum is so strong that the universe cannot yield to you anything other than that. When you stood before Jesus dripping your illness, he saw not your illness, he knew your wellness, and he knew it so unequivocally that while you were in his gaze, your illness could not abide in his vibration. And then he said, don't go home and talk about that. He said, go forth and tell no one. Because he knew if you went home and talked about it, that you would not be able to maintain that knowing of your well-being. And so we know.
So good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.